Salom aziz o'quvchilar, speakingga bag'ishlangan darslarimiz davom etadi va bugun demak ikkinchi darsimiz speaking bo'yicha. Hop, o'tgan darsda va'da qilganimdek, bugun sizlar bilan part 1 savollarini ko'ramiz. Demak, e'tibor beramiz. Part 1 savollari qanday bo'ladi? Hop, part 1 savollariga o'tsak, hozir ozgina buyuni o'zgartirib olamiz. Hop, demak, sample topics and questions birinchi part 1. Birinchi savol, birinchi mavzuyimiz hometown haqida. Men qisqa javob berib ketaman. Bu yerda endi part 1 da unchalik uzoq ko'p gapirish shart emas. Balki misol uchun 3 ta 4 ta gapdan iborat gaplarni aytsangiz yetadi. Ko'p o'zingizni qiynashingiz va ekzamenerni ham qiynashingiz kerak emas, chunki bu narsa baribir shunchaki kirish qismi, warm up, ozgina bir-biringiz bilan tanishasiz, shuning uchun ko'p javob berish shart emas. So demak, birinchi mavzuyimiz hometown. So birinchi savolimiz, where is your hometown? My hometown is Andijan and it's situated in the east part of Uzbekistan. Bo'ldi, tamom. Shu bilan javob yetadi. Now, what do you like about it? So the best thing that I like about my hometown is its people. I have lived in many parts of Uzbekistan, but I haven't found any place that is similar in terms of friendliness to my own hometown. Okay, ya'ni o'sha hometownimni odamlarini aytdim. So endi albatta bunga yana qo'shimcha qilishingiz mumkin. So another thing that I like about my hometown is its weather. It's very mild and it's very pleasant and we have all seasons. Misol uchun. Hop, keyingi savolimiz. Were there any change in your hometown in recent years? Ya'ni hometowningizda bo'lgan shu joyda qandaydir o'zgarishlar bo'ldimi, qandaydir so'nggi yillarda? Yeah, there have been lots of changes in my hometown. Especially new buildings have been built, new apartments, and still construction going on. So the infrastructure has improved a lot. Many new roads have been built. So I think my hometown has become much more modern in comparison to how it looked 20, only just maybe 10 years ago. So okay, ya'ni o'sha oldingiga qaraganda katta o'zgarishlar bo'ldi, uylar qurildi, infrastruktura rivojlandi va hozirgi paytda ko'rinishi anchagina chiroyli. Va mana shunaqa demak sample javob berishingiz mumkin. Keyingi demak savolga o'tamiz. Endi job and studies. So do you work or study? Endi men o'zimdan kelib chiqib javob beraman. Albatta menikini ko'chirish shart emas. Albatta o'zingizga mos javobni berib ketaverasiz. So I work and I'm an English teacher. I have my own education center. I teach general English classes and I also prepare students for IELTS and the new multi-level test. So, mana shunaqa javob demak. What was your typical day like at work or school? So, ya'ni odatiy kuningiz qanaqa bo'ladi? So, typically I arrive at work at about 9 o'clock and I work up until 6 o'clock. And I have lessons. Usually most of my lessons are in the afternoon time because this is the time when students are usually available. So from morning till afternoon, I usually check homework, prepare videos for my online lessons, online audience. So this is how the typical day passes by. Well, is there anything you don't like about your job or study? So is there anything there are some things that I don't like about my job, and one of them is actually checking essays. It takes lots of time to check everyone's essays, and when you have lots of students writing many essays at the same time, so it gets really difficult. And I'm quite fortunate to have an assistant. I often delegate this responsibility to him, and he does it for me. So checking essays, I think, is the most difficult part. Otherwise, it's a very enjoyable job. Okay, demak, family savollariga ketyapmiz endi. How many people are there in your immediate family? And immediate family degani o'sha o'zingizni eng yaqin oilangiz, misol uchun o'sha ota-onangiz, aka-uka, singillar, extended family bo'lishi mumkin, xola, boshqa nimalar bo'lishi mumkin. So in my immediate family I have my father, my mother, and my brother and sister, and also I'm married. I have a wife and 2 nice daughters. So if you count how many, it would be like, I think, 7 people in my family. Actually, no, it's actually 8 people. Is it 8? With me, it makes it 8, I think. So my father, my mother, brother, sister, me, myself, of course, wife, and 2 daughters. So that makes it 8 people. Now, mana shu javobni ko'ryapsiz, ozgina natural bo'lsangiz bo'laveradi. Bu narsani yodlab olish shart emas. O'sha gapirayotgan paytingizda, misol uchun sanashingiz yoki o'zingizni bir erkin tutishingiz mumkin, bemalol. Ya'ni siz buni robotga o'xshab javob berishingiz shart emas. O'zi aslida natural bo'lish sizga ko'proq bir ball beradi. Misol uchun mana men to'g'risini aytsam nechtaligini sanab ko'rmaganman, chunki o'sha paytni o'zida misol uchun nima qilish aytish qiyin. Aytmoqchimanki, natural bo'lish bu yaxshi. It's okay. Now, who do you get on best within your family? Well, I think the person that I get on really well within my family is perhaps my mother. I always talk, to her about my problems. I'm quite shy to talk to my father because he's a very serious man, and my brother works abroad, and my sister also studies, so we don't actually talk too much with them. But with my mother, we really get on well, and we often share our secrets and problems. My mother is the one that I, really get on well. And what do you do together with your family? Well, as I work in the city and they live in the countryside, we don't often have a chance to meet. In fact, I visit them once a week on Saturday and Sunday, and when we get together, we usually have a meal together. We sometimes work together if there is a job that needs to be done. So these are the typical activities that we get involved. We also watch TV with my family. Actually, interesting fact is that my mother likes watching football, and we often watch football games with my mother. So, keyingi savolimiz home haqida ekan. What can you tell me about the place you live in? So currently I'm living in the city, and city is very busy place, and I live in an apartment, and I don't spend much time at home. I usually spend my time in my workplace, and the only time I go home is to sleep in the evening time. So yeah, it's a nice place. The environment is good. There are many trees around, and the neighbors are good. So it's a nice place to live. Is there anything you would like to change about the place you live in? Well, one thing that I would do about the place where I live is perhaps build a playground for the children, because we don't have a playground, special dedicated playground outside, and many children cannot, usually play outside. So probably building a playground would be a great thing to do, because I would want my children to play outside. Do you plan to live there for a long time? Well, yes, I would say I'm planning to live there for a long time, and I'm not planning to move anywhere for the upcoming 10 years. Maybe for at least 10 years I'm going to spend in the current place where I live, because it's very close to my workplace. I used to live in the countryside, but it would take me lots of time to commute to my workplace. So I decided to move into the city center to make it easy for me to go to work and get back from work to home. So I think I'm going to spend at least another 10 years there. Okay, so moving on to questions about weather. Now, so I'll try to make it at 10 minutes. So I think this is the one that we'll cover in this topic. So weather, what's your favorite kind of weather? I like rainy weather, to be honest, and I also like the smell of the ground, and it actually has a special name. It's called petrichor. So when the first drops of the rain come to the ground, there's a special odor coming from aroma coming from the earth, and it's called a petrichor, and I love this smell. I think many people like it as well. Now, is there any type of weather you really don't like? Well, I really don't like very cold weather, because in very cold weather it's very difficult to keep yourself warm. You have to wrap up many layers of clothes, and it's often difficult to keep the house warm as well, because we don't have reliable electricity service or gas service. So it's really difficult to feel comfortable in this kind of cold weather. What is the climate like in your country? So the climate in my country is probably, I would describe it as dry and hot. We have, I think more than 280 days of sun. So it's very sunny country. And it's not very cold in winter. It used to be cold, but maybe because of global warming now we don't have much snow, and I miss actually those days when we would have snow. And I wish it could be a little bit cooler, but it gets really hot in summertime. The temperature might get even up to 50 degrees, so it's quite a hot and dry climate in my country. Okay, demak mana shunaqa edi meni javoblarim. So I tried to make it as natural as possible. I didn't prepare for these questions beforehand. I mean, I just reading and answering those questions. Maybe I should change the view. Yeah, I think it would be better. Now, I wasn't actually preparing for these questions beforehand. I was just reading them and answering them impromptu. So I wasn't like, this this session was not actually planned. And one important thing is being natural. Yani natural bo'lish juda ham muhim. Va bu narsa robotga o'xshab aytib berish bu noto'g'ri. Yodlab olmang. Iloji boricha bir marta ko'rib chiqing va albatta shu narsani natural gapirishga harakat qiling. Misol uchun oldindan tayyorlangan bo'lsangiz ham iloji boricha shuni bir tabiiy yetkazib berishingiz kerak. Xuddi tabiiy gapirayotgandek hissiyot uyg'onish kerak o'sha ekzamenlarda bu bola tabiiy gapiryapti degan. Xo'p, demak mana shundan iborat edi. O'sha 10 minut qilishga harakat qildim. 10 minut ichida cover qilishga ba'zi mavzularni. Keyingi darsimizda yana boshqa mavzularni cover qilamiz albatta part 1 bo'yicha. Thank you for watching and see you soon. Take care.